channel. I'm super excited today because I have got a really good book to share with you guys. I am like, what? Mind blown. So this book, I actually found out about this book when I went for an event, and there was an engineer there who recommended it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to try and I'm going to definitely read it because of the title of the book. So this book is called Reasons to Stay Alive. Like, what? Right? Already, yeah, by Matt Haig. And so I was like, okay, so this book, it talks about a very complex topic, but in a very how can I say, not easy to understand way, but like from a human perspective. So you know how most of the time when you hear about depression, it's mostly the doctor or the psychologist or somebody who did research in the area trying to explain it to you, how it feels, what the symptoms are like, and that kind of stuff. This now is from the perspective of a person who actually suffers from depression, and he calls people who suffer from depression depressives. That's the name he calls them, depressives. So it actually comes from a depressive, and this guy, actually also suffers from anxiety. So he comes from two perspectives. Apparently depression and anxiety are like on different poles, like where depression is trying to bring you down and trying to slow you down and all this kind of thing. Anxiety is making your mind race, run at 100, like it's just speeding things up. So it's like, what different, right? So this book, from like the beginning, like from first sentence, like, right, this guy can write. I can tell this guy can write. Now I can't wait to read all his other works, but this here is amazing, hands down. So the first take, okay, there's a quote, like when you open the first chapter, there's a quote. It says, "But in the end, one needs more courage to live than to kill himself," by Albert Camus, from the book A Happy Death. That's the first statement. You'll be like, oh, okay. And then like his first statement in the book is like, "I can remember the day the old me died." Right there, you're just like caught by the collar, like, okay, I'm following you, like I'm going where you're going with this thing, right? So yeah, so this book was really eye-opening for me, because you know how often we like, oh, I'm so depressed, oh, I'm so depressed, right? And he addresses that, like, okay, the mind is unique and everybody suffers from depression in totally different ways. No mind is exactly the same, and sometimes some solutions that work for somebody else definitely do not work for somebody else. Like for him, his depression did not get under control by taking medication. He was actually terrified of taking medication, and at one point, like, he was drinking a lot and partying a lot, and then like when this like big depression and anxiety episode hit him, like he could not bear the thought of drinking alcohol or taking anything that would alter his mental state. Like he was terrified. Like he was terrified of going outside, going to the shops. Like he was terrified of being left alone. He was just afraid and sad, and yeah, it was just really bad. And he was saying, most of the time people don't understand mental health issues, and they're like, oh, just get on with it, just, pick yourself up and dust yourself. But it's actually really hard. They don't understand how hard it is. You can't just stand up and pick yourself up, because like your mind is battling against you. Everything is like, it feels like the whole world is battling against you. And I remember in my church there was actually a girl who committed suicide because from what people say, because I didn't know her personally, from what people said, like she felt like she didn't have anybody to talk to, and things were just going wrong. She just lost a guy that she loved, and like she just felt like, the world is just against me. And a lot of people were like, oh, but why did she commit, like, you know, coming from a place of judgment. And I was like, people, you have, like, you don't know, like, it feels like when you're depressed, it really feels like suicide is the only option. And Matt Haig really, really does a good job in describing how he felt in his depression, how so very difficult it was, like how he really, really tried. And the thing that kept him hanging on and sane is actually the hope that maybe tomorrow could be better, and as well the love that the people around him showed. And so if you have no one, if you feel like no one loves you and you're alone, like, you know, it's very, very easy for, you know, the black dog to swallow you. And he also talks about how, like, you know, depression doesn't have gender or fame or economic status in the society. Like, a lot of famous people, a lot of successful people, like, battled with depression all their lives. Abraham Lincoln was depressed most of his life. Winston Churchill suffered from depression. And I was like, what? You know, because sometimes we just think, oh my goodness, like, maybe I'm the only one that's going through this. They're like I'm weird or something like that. But like, depression affects a lot of people, and it doesn't affect everybody the same. You know, it affects people uniquely in different ways. And I really applaud the Australians. I don't know if it's the same with other countries, but here in Australia they have like a week of mental health awareness, you know, so that people understand the stigma of it is dispelled, you know, because the more people understand, the more they're in a position to offer support and comfort and help to people who are actually depressed. And you know, I feel that's important. And as well, I think we have a day where, you know, it's called Are You Okay Day, where, you know, you just ask somebody, are you okay? Because most of the time people who are depressed feel alone and lonely, and that nobody really understands what they're going through. And if there is that sort of support in the community, in the family, you know, by people that love them, you know, that, you know, we're there for you, like, we got you, you know, it makes it better. It makes it more, it gives hope. It gives hope to the depressive. And so I really, really absolutely applaud Matt Haig for being brave enough to write about his experience, and for giving people a perspective of and an understanding, or a viewpoint of what depression and anxiety is like from a depressive, from a person who actually suffered from it, not just from a technical or how can I say, medical perspective or research kind of, but from an actual depressive. And so if definitely you're interested in mental health, in mental health issues, and would just like to understand more about depression and anxiety, definitely pick up this book by Matt Haig. And as well, if you just want a good book that is written really well, definitely pick up this book by Matt Haig. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be releasing books every week. Releasing books. I wish I could release books every week. You know what I'm saying? I will be releasing videos every week, so stay tuned. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Comment in the section below. Do you know of a depressive, and how do people get help in the area that you're in? You'll be really interested to know. And as usual, if you have any book recommendations, definitely leave a comment below, and I'll definitely check them out. Don't forget to subscribe. I think I've said that already. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you will be alerted every time I upload a new video. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me.